Scientists are trying to solve the secrets of marijuana. Plant once had a bad reputation as a drug, now is becoming more acceptable to scientists around the world are trying to figure out exactly how it works and what forms could help in treating various diseases. There is nothing new regarding cannabis. He was using humans as UA than ever. Siberia burned seeds were found dating to 3000 BC. The Chinese have used cannabis as medicine for thousands of years. Marijuana is also an American as George Washington, who raised less marijuana Mount Vernon. Throughout most of American history the plant was illegal and mostly found in different flavors. But at some point started going crazy. Marijuana kills young. Killer plant and gateway to other drugs. MSC more than 70 years, the plant went into darkness. Scientific and medical research on plant completely stopped. In 1970 the federal NMMSLH have made it even more difficult to investigate. Marijuana plant was classified as Class 1 drug, that is, without any dangerous substance health benefit and a great danger in use, the same grade of heroin. United States of America, people who wanted to expand their knowledge about marijuana were classified as criminals. But now that more and more people are turning to the plant for medicinal purposes, the science behind cannabis is flourishing again. We find surprises and miracles. Stmonim plant was once considered forbidden. Although marijuana is still defined as a drug, Sangwon, Vivek Marty, chief medical officer, recently expressed an interest in what science can learn about the marijuana and said that some medical experiment can to help. In 23 states and the District of Columbia cannabis became legal. Most Americans support changing the law and making legalized marijuana also for entertainment and leisure. Other countries also change their attitude. Ba or Go-I is illegal in Portugal. Indictments users. Israel, Canada and the Netherlands have plans to use cannabis as medicine. In recent years, many countries have facilitated the illegal maintenance. Marijuana is around us more and more. The special characteristic smell and it's in the air. Yes, marijuana can cause attacks of laughter, bahia, memory problems about things that happened before 2 minutes and menses. Although there is no medical history, one death from an overdose of marijuana is still strong and in Ngoyamim, a harmless drug. Many people turned for help to feel cannabis pain, help sleep, increase appetite, nausea or go through the difficulties of life. Users report help treating the symptoms of stress and anxiety. Marijuana is considered an effective treatment, pain, nausea, bronchitis and anti-inflammatories. Marijuana was able to successfully treat even severe cases of hiccups. Components plant according to claim researchers help the body in maintaining the functioning of vital systems, such as protecting the brain from trauma, immune strengthening, marked debriefing after extreme events. While the world was running to get the marijuana lap for legitimacy, enjoy the following taxes, and trade in, are a few questions. What happens inside the plant? How truly marijuana affects our brain? What chemicals in plants can tell us about the system function in nerves? Hamsimaclim can lead to the development of these new drugs. If cannabis was something to tell us what he was saying, the chemist would say, treasure. Even until the invention of the 20th century, science did not understand almost nothing about marijuana. What has grown and how it works remained a mystery. Because of the criminal layer and prejudice, very few serious scientists wanted to investigate the plant. Then one day in 1963, a young organic chemist named Raphael Mechoulam, who works at the institute, decided to look at the chemical composition of the plant. It seemed strange to him that although manufactured morphine from opium and cocaine, coca leaves have been in 1805 and 1855 respectively, psychoactive ingredient in marijuana remains unknown. It was only paid TZMH, 84 years old, it was a mess, mixing of unidentified compounds. Professor Paid contacted Israeli police. They hand over 5 Lebanese kg of hashish. Professor Mechoulam and his research group synthesized substances injected separately drives that rhesus monkeys. Only one substance caused the change observed by researchers. Usually rhesus monkeys are aggressive, but one case that received the materials they were calm, even Msamim says paid. Further tests have raised what the world knows today. The compound is the main ingredient in the plant. Is the component that caused the change of perception, is the cause of the high sense. Paid together with his research found that the THC-TTRH hydrocannabidiol. They also discovered the chemical structure of the CBD, diol, another key ingredient in marijuana. One that has many medical uses, but has no psychoactive component. For these breakthroughs and many others, Paid, known as the patriarch of the science of cannabis, born in Bulgaria, is a polite man with thinning white hair and watery eyes. Is a respected member of the Israel Academy of Sciences and a professor at the Hadassah Medical School of the Hebrew University, where he is still director of the laboratory. The author of more than 400 scientific articles, 25 patents holder, kindly grandfather who has spent his life studying the cannabis, which he calls medicinal treasure waiting to be discovered. His work gave rise to further research on cannabis around the globe. Although he says he never smoked the stuff, is known around the world and get huge amounts of fan mail. "This is all your fault," I told him when we meet in his room full of books to discuss the explosion of interest in the science of marijuana. Israel has one of the advanced medical marijuana programs in the world. Meshulam played an active role in setting up this program, and is proud of the results. More than 20,000 patients have a license to use cannabis to treat conditions such as glaucoma, Crohn's disease, inflammation, loss of appetite, Tourette's syndrome, and asthma. However, he did not particularly favor the legalization of cannabis use and recreation. He did not think anyone should go to jail for ownership, but he insists that marijuana is not an innocent substance, especially for young people. He cites studies showing that long-term use in high THC strains can change the way the brain develops growing. He notes that in some people cannabis can trigger panic attacks are serious and debilitating. He points to studies that suggest that cannabis can trigger an outbreak of schizophrenia among those who have a genetic predisposition to the disease. If it were up to him, Paid sees the stupidity and irresponsibility often a leisure culture of cannabis users was giving way to, but just as a medical material is strictly regulated and constantly questioned. Right now, he complained, people do not know what they are getting. For this to work in the medical world, it must be quantitative. If you cannot count how many, it is not science. In 1992, In Search of the Plant is Paid to Quantitative came to the interiors of the human mind. This year Is Paid along with other researchers came to a stunning discovery. They isolated the chemical our bodies produce and binds to the same place in the cell as THC. Meshulam called anandamide, supreme joy sanker. Asked why did not name Ivory said that the intercalated no words to describe so much joy, Jews do not like to be happy. Since the discovery of additional andinoboatum as well as their receptors, scientists have concluded that andinoboatum interact with specific neural networks similar to how endorphins, serotonin and dopamine are doing. Exercise increases brain levels andinoboatum, which is probably responsible for what runners call a running high. These compounds, he said, must play an important role in basic functions such as memory, balance, movement, immune health, neuroprotection. Typically, pharmaceutical companies make cannabis-based medicines will seek to isolate individual compounds from the plant. But Paid very suspect that in some cases these chemicals will work much better coordination with other compounds found in marijuana. He calls this effect the effect, which is just one of the many mysteries of cannabis he says requires more research. Only clawed the surface, he says, and I am very sorry that I no longer have to spend a lifetime in this field, as we may find that cannabinoids are involved in any way in any human diseases.